How can they escape when the outside appears to be filled with traps?
They can't stay, as the monsters of the second trial are supposed to be impossible to defeat. They might be done for good this time. However, So-Hyun shocks everyone by declaring that there are no traps. If there were traps, the system would have mentioned them. The system doesn't lie. This must be someone else's trickery. Others are hesitating, but Johu orders them to move out. Running is their best chance, so they collectively began to move out. When suddenly, So-Hyun drops a bombshell that he will stay behind to buy some time. What's weird is that he insists Yeon will also stay with him for some unknown reason. Yeon has no idea and insists that she wants to run with the others. However, Johu closes the door behind them, signaling So-Hyun and promising others to explain later. They all run, leaving So-Hyun and Yeon behind. Yeon falls to the floor and begins to cry. And in an unexpectedly calm manner, So-Hyun questions why she's holding a knife if she's so distraught. Yeon has finally revealed her true face. Looks like we have finally found the imposter among them. So-Hyun unsheathes his sword and slashes her collar to reveal a tattoo on Yeon's shoulder, the mark of the Dump Guild, a notorious group of despicable individuals that are truly the lowest of the low. Although the name Dump is currently unknown, in the future they become as dangerous to humans as the outbreaks themselves. So in this life, So-Hyun plans to eradicate them from their very roots. Initially, So-Hyun suspected the sus guy, but Yeon eliminated him first, as she was unaware of his powers. Furthermore, she also tried to sow distrust between So-Hyun, Baron, and Johu, which ultimately led to So-Hyun uncovering her true intentions. Yeon chuckles and praises So-Hyun for seeing through her deception. She divulges that they are all doomed regardless because of the approaching monsters. However, she plans to utilize her special skill, Sneak, to escape unnoticed while the monsters deal with So-Hyun. As the door opens, Yeon activates her sneak skill, but So-Hyun questions whether her ability erases the scent of blood. Thinking 10 steps ahead, So-Hyun had already made a minor cut earlier. Smelling the blood, the monsters swiftly dispatch her. However, the true challenge has just begun. Hundreds of powerful B-rank and above monsters lock their gaze on So-Hyun, who is standing alone. They charge toward him, but So-Hyun leaps into action, decimating many of them with each strike. No one can get past him, as the others need to make their escape. Spotting a flying monster, So-Hyun moves with astonishing speed, leaps to it, and delivers a finishing blow. But this is just the beginning. Their numbers are far too many, and it's time for So-Hyun to unleash his special move. Meanwhile, Johu and the others continue their escape. In a flashback, Johu remembers his conversation with So-Hyun. Remember earlier, when So-Hyun and Johu went for a private conversation after the Cyclops was defeated? This is what they talked about. He asked So-Hyun if he is really the famous So-Hyun of the leaderboards. And when So-Hyun confessed to Johu that despite being a C rank, he is the true So-Hyun, Johu insisted on giving So-Hyun the leadership position from now on, since he is so much stronger. But So-Hyun refused, saying you are a trustworthy person, much more suited to be the leader. Additionally, So-Hyun also warns Johu about a traitor in their midst. This is the reason why Johu blinded trusted So-Hyun when So-Hyun identified Yeon as the traitor. Concerned for So-Hyun's well-being, Johu cannot shake the thought of So-Hyun fighting alone to buy them time. So, he decides to turn back and aid So-Hyun, unable to abandon a team member. As Johu reaches the scene, he is stunned to witness all the monsters engulfed in brilliant blue flames. When a flying monster approaches Johu, So-Hyun harnesses the flames to incinerate it. Even when a pack of monsters closes in from behind, they pose no challenge for So-Hyun's sword coated in blue flames. Such is the power of the leveled-up Divine Flame skill. Johu remarks that, it seems So-Hyun has everything under control. Him coming here is to help was essentially useless. However, So-Hyun corrects him, assuring Johu that his help is needed as the real fight is just beginning. Suddenly, a yellow portal materializes before them, and a hand emerges from it. A hooded skeleton adorned with a jewel on its forehead appears, a monstrously powerful final boss emanating an overwhelming aura of mana. His appearance was the main reason why this dungeon transformed from orange to yellow, and new monsters were introduced. Johu questions what this entity is, and how a skeleton can be a dungeon boss. Before So-Hyun can respond, the dungeon boss politely requests not to be referred to as a mere skeleton. Johu struggles to comprehend that a monster is capable of speaking. All the boss introduces himself as Lich the Dark Priest, and demands to be called by that name. But So-Hyun interjects, saying it's actually a half-Lich. However, the boss obviously claims he is the real deal. But So-Hyan starts taunting it by throwing insults, half failure, half off sale lich, and more. This angers the lich, and he casts a spell, and all the defeated monsters around them began to rise up to fight as zombies. So-Hyan acknowledges the lich's strength and realizes that its appearance was the main reason why this dungeon transformed from orange to yellow. He only deliberately taunted the lich, because he wanted the lich to strike first. To ensure Johu's safety from the powerful monsters, So-Hyan creates a circle of flames around Johu using his flame-coated sword. After that, So-Hyan leaps directly at the lich, or rather the half-lich, but in an instant the lich vanishes, reappearing elsewhere and mocking So-Hyan to catch him. Liches are generally unsuited for physical combat. They rely on their undead minions to keep enemies at bay. They also possess the ability to fast teleport when attacked. This also means that to defeat the lich, So-Hyan only needs to catch him and destroy the crystal of life on the lich's forehead, which holds the lich's life essence. Later, So-Hyan's second attack also fails. The lich retaliates with its own attack. So-Hyan blocks the attack with his sword and counters with his blue flames. But the lich teleports away once again. The lich laughs and mentions that its previous death magic attack will continue corroding So-Hyan's sword until the sword is destroyed within 5 minutes. Fearlessly, So-Hyan declares that 5 minutes is more than enough time to defeat it, and he launches another assault. Their battle intensifies. Meanwhile, Johu begins to feel useless from the sidelines, even though the monsters are ignoring him. This feeling makes him step out of the circle of flames, and he attacks and defeats a monster with his sword enveloped in divine flames. Seeing Johu's passion to be stronger and observing his newfound strength, So-Hyan makes a change of plans, and he swiftly moves toward Johu, cutting down any monsters in his path. The lich believes So-Hyan is attempting to flee, but So-Hyan confidently states that they are just getting started. After apologizing to Johu for underestimating him, So-Hyan leans in and whispers his plan to defeat the lich into Johu's ear. The monsters launch a synchronized attack, while our newly formed duo fearlessly confronts them head-on. So-Hyan engages the monsters directly, but Johu moves past them and charges straight at the lich. As Johu nears his target, So-Hyan unleashes a scorching flame attack towards the lich. The lich teleports away in mid-air, and at first the attack seems to be wasted. When suddenly, Johu activates his Tempest Sword. He uses his Wind Dance attack to change the direction of the fire, pointing it directly towards the lich. And together the wind and fire attacks amplify each other and directly hit the lich, causing major damage. But without wasting any time, So-Hyan catches the falling Johu and launches him back directly at the lich. Lich manages to counter Johu when So-Hyan comes in from behind to deliver the finisher. But at that very moment So-Hyan's sword breaks to pieces. Seems like the 5 minutes are up, and the sword has rotted. Seeing his attack fail, the lich smirks, but So-Hyan returns the smile, knowing what is about to unfold. Just as the lich's confidence peaks, Johu strikes from behind, delivering the final blow that cleaves the lich in half. This time they have finally won, and the boss is defeated. Before fading away, the lich issues a haunting warning.
This is far from the end. Our king shall be reborn, and he will subject you to unyielding pain.
With this, the grueling Gwangju dungeon raid is finally done, and relief washes over the tired duo, and after collecting the rewards, they hide outside the dungeon's entrance behind bushes, while the rescue services and media organizations attend to the remaining raid members. With tears in her eyes, Baron speaks during an interview, expressing her concerns that those still inside may have perished, urging for immediate aid. Recognizing So-Hyan's desire to keep his true powers hidden, Johu steps forwards and volunteers to handle the media himself. But Johu has one request. He wants to return his share of the dungeon rewards to So-Hyan, admitting that he feels unworthy of this. He knows that So-Hyan didn't really need his help with the lich. For him, So-Hyan giving him a chance to grow in a battle is enough, and someday he plans to fight beside So-Hyan and be helpful enough to deserve his fair share. After that, Johu discreetly arranges for a trusted taxi driver to secretly pick up So-Hyan from such a remote location. During the journey, So-Hyan marvels at Johu's dependability and unwavering character. Yet, amidst the triumph, a sense of disappointment lingers within So-Hyan. Although he identified the culprit in time, he couldn't save everyone. Guys, I need F's in the chat for the sus guy. We should be ashamed for suspecting him. He gave his life so others could identify the culprit. May his soul rest in peace. So-Hyan also realizes that he could save the rest of the raid members only with Johu's corporation. He realizes that merely being the strongest and the last one standing will not save others and the world. In this life, So-hyun resolves to gather trustworthy allies to shape a better future for everyone. But before embarking on this transformative path, So-hyun recognizes his immediate need to visit a hospital. But first, he would need some money to cover the medical expenses. Elsewhere, an assistant urgently summons the department manager, informing him of a customer who wishes to sell a substantial amount of ether stones. The customer holds a C-rank status, yet possesses over 500 grams of ether stones. So-hyun patiently waits in the lobby as the manager personally comes to meet him. Manager then inspects the quality of the ether and satisfied with their quality. The cunning manager attempts to diminish So-hyun's bargaining power by suggesting the possibility that So-hyun got this ether illegally. A mere C rank doesn't have this much. Unfazed by this, So-hyun counters by revealing another crystal, leaving the manager and his associate astounded. It is a high-grade ether stone, the same as Lich's crystal of life. Although the crystal on Lich's forehead was destroyed, fortune favored So-hyun, as he got an identical one from the reward box. So-hyun stands up, moves towards the door, and calmly states that he is happy to leave if they doubt his credibility. Yet, moved by the rarity and value of the stones, the manager implores him to stay, determined to present a fair offer. With this negotiation tactic, So-hyun stands outside his home, now 600 million won richer.